Alright. Good day. If this is your first time to the channel, what we usually do around here, we talk music, all sorts of different stuff. If you're into finding new music and all that type of stuff, we have tons of playlists of all sorts of music. I guarantee you've never heard, so do take a look around the channel. I guarantee you're going to find something new. Or something you never knew you needed in your life. There's a ton of awesome music from all different genres, all different regions around the world. Just awesome stuff. So, but today, I want to have a little conversation here, and this was something that I've actually brought up in another video, but Phil here really puts it into a better form than perhaps I probably could, and puts, things into a nicer wrapped package here.
Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, ladies and gentlemen,
first of all, Phil, gotta give you props on the framing. Like, it's Kubrickian framing. Just sorry, I just got to tell you, good job.
I told you this would happen.
Yep,
and
he did.
I said this probably 5 years ago,
yep.
6 years ago, something like that, where I said, in the future, people are not going to know what they're listening to.
Nope.
So it means that the younger generation are going to be listening to things, not knowing what they're listening to, and judging them in a way that is inaccurate, because they can't make a judgment on what they're listening to because they don't know what they're listening to.
Right.
And here we have a prime example of a reel that was on Instagram, or it might, I think it might be a shorts video from you.
I want to add something real quick. There's a lot of people, like, if I was to tell them, like, if we go to a show and I'd be like, yeah, they didn't do too bad with, too much of the backing tracks. And they're like, there was no backing tracks at all. And it's like, yes, you do simple math. You can see there's no keyboardist up there. There's no, some of the stuff that you're hearing is not coming from the people that are on the stage. But just because, backing tracks are being used, it makes a difference. If you are the predominant thing that is making the sound, but if you're leaning into the backing tracks are the predominant thing and you're just adding to them and, saying, hey, talking to the crowd and yahoos and all that, well, that's a whole nother story and a whole nother realm. Now, one thing that Phil has pointed out here, not to interrupt you, Phil, sorry, is that people don't realize that, like, even when they have, like, they'll see like a live video, something they think, they're like, wow, listen to the pitch. It's like, yeah, people that were there probably heard it a bit different than you're hearing it now. And already in real time, they try to, fix as much as they can with pitch and all that. But then in post production, when they get it out there, they can slightly alter things enough. And the layman is not going to notice because they're not that attuned to realizing, or knowing what the human voice is actually capable of and what you're hearing. So, Phil.
YouTube, where there's somebody sitting down and the person is ranking voices, and there are 5 voices, and each voice gets a percentage. Now, guess which particular skill is being judged in this video? It is pitch accuracy. The accuracy of each singer has been given a percentage as to how accurate they are.
This is awkward.
So let's jump into this. It feels like jumping into the Twilight Zone or something, or some alternate universe. But let's have a listen to this.
If you
I'm done hiding now, I'm shining like a puppy. Oh, our time, no fears, no lies, that's who we're
you can't. Now you add a little bit more effect. Then a little bit more effect. And it starts covering it up. Then you add the music. I can still hear that though. That's obvious. Especially right there.
That's then the end of the shorts video, because it is a shorts
short.
video. So, I mean, I probably shouldn't laugh, but
Well,
it
he
is
doesn't
so
know. He's-
stupid. But this is the reality of the world that we live in now. And like I said, I've been saying this for years, that you can now have, and I'm sure it's not just me watching this particular video, there will be members of the younger generation who are watching this that they don't have this on screen. This is something that I do. I run it through
this
pitch
framing,
monitoring
I love
software
it.
so that I can show you when it is calibrated clearly to
Look at that.
A440 standard pitch equal temperament. And for those of you
Right. Oh, yeah, let him finish.
who are a little bit late to the party, these lines are the default
Right.
for pitch correction and auto tune.
Think of it like when your screen snaps, it's got its default, and that's where it snaps to, and you can get it to snap to another position. In music, all the notes, or all the keys are all in layers in line. You can bring things up a note, a quarter of a note, wherever they need to be slightly, because the human voice is not going to be perfect. Now, there are plenty of bands out there where they're not seeking perfection, so that's not a problem. But when the producers are seeking perfection after the fact, it can start to really muddy the waters and not make things, sound good or real anymore.
No singer ever has been calibrated to A440.
Yeah.
And trust me, on the channel, we've looked at pretty much
A lot.
all of the best voices of all time. They are never calibrated. But if we now jump into this again. So what should happen in this particular video is that is crossed out because you
Up here.
cannot judge the pitch accuracy of a singer who is being calibrated and who has tuned their voice.
Right.
Oh, it's crazy. But this is, you can go and watch the video yourselves. I'm not making this up. This is a genuine shorts video on YouTube.
And he doesn't
that
realize. He don't know.
This person is watching and judging people's voices that are tuned.
Right.
And I say that the second person here is the only real voice. All of the others are
watch the
tuned.
difference.
So the person that got, and let me get rid of that, because this tuned voice got 95%. I don't know how you judge tuned voices.
Look,
So there are
I
four
mean, it's
tuned voices here.
too
And
sharp
when I say tuned,
and on
it means that
point.
they've gone through and moved the vocal to
Right.
exactly where the note is, or, here, calibrated, 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 calibrated.
Rated.
And
Yeah.
this is more of a pitch correction thing rather than auto-tune, because,
Yeah.
that's maybe 2 or 3 cents.
Which means you're pushing out the air, you're making the notes, but the computer is putting it where it's supposed to be, because you're generally in the correct place, but you're not perfect. Where this tries to auto-tune, tries to make you perfect. First time we heard auto-tune, it was an effect. It was like being used as an effect. And I didn't think that they were going to go this far with it to where
Off there, and here we did come down and just touch the line and then went a little bit sharp. So all of this is absolutely edited because a natural voice doesn't do this. But then we hear, tell you what, I'm going to bring this back on again because this isn't on the normal video, but I'm showing you that you cannot judge somebody's pitch accuracy when you're listening to pitch that wasn't their accuracy.
pitch by its
It's been
cover.
changed. But let's listen on.
I'm done hiding.
And for some reason, I don't know whether this is just because it happened that way, or whether
You can tell Phil's really frustrated, but he's trying to like be, because he's like, I told you this was gonna happen. Damn you all.
there's a particular agenda that's being pushed here. Maybe this video is sponsored by major labels and they want real voices to sound worse.
Could be. Hey,
so the real voice is the only one without any backing music. So it really stands out. So you can't really judge the accuracy with the background. But let's listen on.
Like I just said earlier.
Like a oh, our time, no fears, no life.
She's pushing that out, but see,
so like that. I
look
mean,
at the
that
difference.
G5. I know that people in the comment section, and this is where it's crazy. Look, swap 95 and 96. So this one was 95, the one that's not real, and the 96 was the actual real one. And it says 95 deserves to be higher.
Right.
And 96 is off pitch. Also, 98% is like 99.9%. So these people watching
Which is
this,
not,
I said it years ago, they don't know what they're watching. And now people who are potentially judging people's voice.
and now this is what's going to make it so a lot of people are going to start tolerating the whole AI voice. I mean, like when you hear an AI song, there's like parts where it's kind of like how AI has a problem with fingers and pictures sometimes. I mean, it's getting better, but it's still, there's like spots where you can notice this is not real. Or at least there's parts of it that just are not real. And now it's going to get to the point that where if people are accepting this, or they think that they're judging things on the merits that are not actually merited, then the AI slop is going to be a lot easier to push, because a whole generation's already going to be trained to, not understand that's
Voices for accuracy don't know what they're listening to. So I don't know where we go from here, other than telling everybody in the world to subscribe to my channel, because I will tell you exactly what's going on. So anyway, with this second performance, is it that one? I mean, that would get, in this particular lineup, 100%, because it's the only genuine vocal. But anyway, I'll let it play on a bit. So the giveaway is always on these lines. Again, calibration, and it's undeniable. So when we...
Like right here, just for instance, when he means calibration, it means it's calibrated, that it knows not to let you go any higher than these. That's why it peaks right at the line. And you got a little bit of leeway where it's almost like it's trying to make you sound real, but that's kind of the giveaway. And for me, I don't know. But yeah, when you can see it and you understand more what he's talking about.
Know which one that was. The third one was that, so we can put another cross on that. That gets 0%. So at the moment,
see, he's like,
I mean, this is a very one-sided competition, because the person who's going to win has got to be the person who did it, and not the person
who faked it
the
best.
Let's play on. And I know people will maybe think, and I've done videos on this in the past, people might think, oh, but this person here, they're standing in a kitchen and they're just singing. There is so much on the internet that's manipulated, where people have just sung or are pretending to sing in a kitchen, pretending to sing in a bathroom, but it is pre-recorded and then pitch corrected and then released as if they were singing it live at that time.
Exactly.
So this is another thing that people need to get wise to. And
I can't believe, like, I mean, look, back in the day, it was pretty obvious that when you saw a band up on the stage wailing to their instruments, at first it was like, wow, look at them, they sound, so awesome. And it wasn't until like Pearl Jam came out where they were actually letting bands just release live videos. Yeah, there you go. We're not going to make a video, so that's the closest you get. But, it's like you'd see their instruments aren't even plugged in, so they've been doing the same shit for years, and just because it's on a personal scale or it's on somebody's profile doesn't mean they're not doing the same thing. We have access now to so much, software that it's very easy. I could be miming this could not even be my real voice right now. I could be in another room, had pre-recorded all of this, and I'm just talking along to a script. I mean, obviously I'm not, because this would be the most stupid script ever, but still. Phil, please help me out here.
Even things that look like they are genuine and just maybe an impromptu performance in your kitchen, even that is tuned now, which I know is crazy, but it's happening.
In your kitchen. Yeah. And if you cannot, I mean, and I don't mean to be shitty with people or whatever, but it's like, if you can't tell that's really, I mean, I know people go and record in bathrooms, and even, big stars will, do demos of their vocal track in a hotel bathroom because that's all they have it there. And it's because it's got great acoustics and they can get that. But that's not what's happening here. It's people that are acting like that's what's happening, but it's not really what's happening.
Yeah, again. And, I mean, this G5, that singer hit that G5 directly on A440. G6. What are the odds of all of the other singers hitting a G5 on A440? Right. When you take one singer, you can take another singer, and I can guarantee you can take the two best singers in the world who, they're going to be not the same singer, two separate singers, and they will not hit a G5 on the line and hold it there. Right. I can guarantee you that, because it's impossible. Right. Vocal cords are not calibrated.
They will hit it. They can hit it, but sustaining, and it's, even the best singers out there, and we're talking Celine Dion and all that, they are wonderful singers. Adele, all that, they are wonderful singers, but even some of their stuff is post-processed, and and even live stuff, it's just, look, they're an investment, and the companies that have invested in them want their money back, and this, for some reason, they think that seeking this kind of perfection is what is going to be the return to their investment. So all of these singers are just showing that who can fake it the best, really. And only one of them really did it, it seems.
No matter who it is that is singing, more often than not, the same singer will have a slight variation in pitch when they're singing the same note from one performance to the next.
Right.
So yeah, getting two separate singers to do it, I mean, in this case, yeah, it's absolutely calibration.
It sounds,
and there we go, yeah, the G5 again, perfectly on the line.
That's not even possible.
And I said this years ago, in the future, every singer is going to sound the same because they're all being calibrated to a 440.
A guitar string doesn't even do that.
So we've just seen that the singer before had exactly the same pitch accuracy as the singer after. And here, they were calibrated to the B4, and this is calibrated to the B4. So everybody's voice now is the same.
Right. It lets it waver, but it doesn't let it get even a half step out of that range. It keeps it right in there. And
all got the same vocal ability for accuracy, but people don't know that this is happening. that
Right.
everyone is now as accurate as everyone else. And why is that the case? Because it
they're
means that
all
great
doing the
singers
same shit.
have all of their expression and the thing that makes their voice stand up above other voices, and why people still see, you know, Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and all these different singers that were huge pop stars and had amazing voices.
They did, yeah.
Those are still seen as some of the best voices of all time because of the expression, not because they were calibrated at A440. Right. But as we've seen recently with Mariah Carey as well, they're starting to calibrate older performances.
They're even going back in time and doing this shit.
So it means that the great singers are...
They did this to Freddie Mercury. This is like a more... Do not... Under any circumstances, Freddie Mercury sang shit the way he sang it because he wanted it to be that way. Not so some podunk producer could come along 30 years later and say, you know what? That note could be just a hair sharper. No, shut your mouth. Just remaster the thing and ship it out. Shut up. Just shut up.
Being brought down to the level of everyone who's being tuned, which means that everyone sounds the same, regardless of your vocal ability for hitting pitch accurately, which means you can then go and sell a product of somebody that might look great but can't sing that accurately. You can get them to sing in exactly
like
the
we're
same
selling
way
shampoo.
And to the same accuracy as Mariah Carey. You're now putting that singer who isn't very accurate on the same level as somebody who is, you know, known for being really accurate, but now they are calibrated. So this is why. It means that the music industry can make more money and they can look at an artist
and literally
and think,
make those artists
they look
people
really
talk
good,
about.
but they can't sing very accurately. But
Doesn't
what
matter.
we can do is just calibrate them to
fix
A440.
that. We'll fix
and now
that.
they're
No
going to sound
problem.
exactly the same as everyone else. And yeah, no, that's where the money is.
This has been going on. I mean, you know, and this is not to take away from some of these singers because they are good singers in their own right. Like, you know, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. They, you know, but with their style though, and at the time, the layman or even, you know, people that they didn't, you know, because pop and the way that things are expressed and the kinds of effects they put on vocals, a lot of it kind of slipped under the radar, and now when you look back at it, you're like, whoa, this is highly processed. And, you know, but that's not to say that Britney Spears or Christina, they're both brilliant singers. I mean, I think I would put, personally, Christina Aguilera above Britney Spears, but, you know, it could be the other way around for all I know.
Not really where the honesty is, but no, let's play on. So let's put a cross through that one. 0%
that's all
marks
bullshit.
for that because we are tuned again. That one was
look at
ridiculous.
that. You cannot do that.
I think this
You
last one
can't.
is another kind of kitchen, bedroom type one. Oh, and there we go again. So that was the last one that's been... you can see the clear calibration going.
Look at it. And it's like you could line them all up. It's like all of them. You could just take them all and layer them over each other. And then the one that deviates is the real one. This is madness. Like,
on here. And
it's like...
I mean, I would actually like to hear people singing this without tuning it.
Right?
But I guess because it's so difficult, that's why people are tuning it. It's like me doing the same thing.
Because it is.
And, I mean, I'm a guy, so I wouldn't be singing this anyway. I mean, I wouldn't get involved with this kind of thing. But if I wanted
come on, Phil,
to
belt
sing
it out.
you know, maybe an octave lower, and then pitch correct my voice, I could do
You could do it, right.
Technically, I could sing it and in Melodyne
Do it,
drag
Phil.
my voice an octave higher.
Do it.
And then just calibrate it to A440, and then I have sung it as well. So you can judge my
Put a little
pitch
flair
accuracy, singing something that I know I wouldn't be able to sing. But this is the point, and this is why they've done it.
Exactly.
Because if they were to sing it without the tuning, it wouldn't sound very good, because this kind of thing, it's impossible to do.
You hear the
but
noise.
You have to be a great singer to do this kind of thing, to have this kind of range and this kind of control, to sing it accurately without calibrating it. And that's why great singers were great singers, because they would be able to sing something like this. But now you don't have to be a great singer to be seen to be singing something like this, and you haven't sung it. I know I haven't sung it if I'm applying Melodyne and pitch correcting it all, but then still uploading it and pretending that I have sung it. And that's where I draw the line, because I think, well, you can do it for your own enjoyment at home to listen to, but once you're pretending that you're doing this and you haven't done it, I think that's kind of, for me, misleading at best, and at worst, I probably don't want to say, but for me, it's just a total lack of any kind of integrity with your audience, because art is all about honesty, transparency, openness, and having that relationship with the audience so that they know what's going on.
Like when you hear like a Florian or a Tara or even I'm forgetting from Nightwish, you're hearing what they're doing because they can do that, and they are doing things at the level that they can do it at, which happens to be a dramatic level. Floor for me, is a mix of the two past singers, and then a little add some more, and and then sprinkle some She-Wolf and some other Viking type aspects, and there you go. But yeah, she is a good example of, like, some of the singers like the Whitney Houstons and stuff that he's talking about, and even like the back in the day with, like, the Dolly Partons and all that. They didn't lean into these things. Now, could Floor or Tara's and the post production be juiced up a little bit? Sure, but I doubt it is, because that's their bag, that they're doing what they do. They're not, this thing that you'd look like you'd make a good singer. Don't worry, just generally be in the right place. We'll take care of the rest. That's what he's talking about. And it seems like we have a finite amount of singers that are able to really do the things that they appear to be doing. And even on the social media scale, they got all these followers that think that they can do this shit that they're not doing. That they're going in and they're just running it through a sound editor that's pitch correct and everything, and then they're posting it, and of course it's going right along to them, but it's not. They might as well be lip syncing it. It's not the same. And I think that this, like, look, we're finding more, well, at least I am. I've been finding more like amazing women singers in, the metal genres and the stuff they're pulling off there. And, the dramatics going from one end of the scale to the other, like, look at like Ginger or Floor from Nightwish or any, of those bands. I mean, Spirit Box, all that. They all, that's the thing they have going for them, is this dynamic range to them. But it's, they're not, that's the thing that makes them special, is they're doing what they do. And, this is, at the level they do it at, and they're not pretending to do it something that they can't. Now, could there, be, like, they could not control all the aspects once that thing gets shipped out and master. There are other hands that albums go through, and there are other people sometimes that have a say in decisions that are made, and sometimes it can be out of a singer's hands, like we see with the Queen issue. Like, you're gonna pitch correct Freddie Mercury, somebody needs to be smacked. I mean, it's not right. And I think we're like, it's almost like we're trying to get the population to be accustomed to sounding, to hearing everything. We want the nuance there. That's what gives it the heart, the emotion, the nuance. And if you can't pull off the nuance and you got to do this, then you just, or you can't hit the notes for real and you got to do this, you're just as fake as the last person that did it. You might as well just be lip syncing to the original one, because there's not much difference. So, yeah. I mean, look, practice more. I mean, if you get to a point where you're getting close, then maybe you could really do it, practice. But instead, people are just leaning into the pitch correction. And I think that's the thing that's pissing Phil right off. And it pisses me off too. And it's happening in real time. It happens, in post-production. There's, even what feels like almost live and in real time, and they're fixing, it's like with the Back to the Beginning show, the 2-hour delay. They were fixing things along the way, so every time a band was going out, they were fiercely going through and, fixing mistakes or whatever they could, to get it out there. Of course, they can't get it all, but, there was a bit of a difference from what people heard there compared to what people heard, through the delay, through, the pay-per-view aspect of it. But either way, that was an amazing show that needed to happen, and I'm not going to, belittle it in any way. Yeah, I totally get what Bill is talking about, and I think that this is a way of training the population to accept garbage and just to accept fakery. And so then they could just focus more on an image rather than actual frigging talent. It's like, it's why you don't see so many boy bands or any of that so much no more, because there's not that many of them that they can get together that can all do it that good. And, it's like, and plus the boy band thing is kind of like an old, old hat. They're on their retirement tours now. So, but yeah, I could talk a lot about this more. I've seen it in real time and in person, or I've been at a show and then heard that exact show after the fact and could hear that it didn't sound like that. Like, there's whole parts of the guitars that have been fixed because of something happened, a mistake. Something happened to their equipment. They had something was crackling. There was a bad connection somewhere. How do they fix that? It's a live show. They go back in after the fact in the studio and dub over that the best they can. And and so when you're hearing a lot of live shows and stuff, sometimes it's not all as live as you think it is. So that's when you hear actual live shows. It's very special. So yeah. But yeah, there's tons more I could talk about on this topic. But I think Phil pretty much.
And they're not giving you credit for something that you haven't done.
Right.
This was it. We are now living in, unfortunately, the future world that I predicted, where singers are being judged on their vocal accuracy when they've actually been calibrated to A440. So it means that you can't get any more accurate. And I guess the ultimate irony is you can't get any more accurate than being on these lines. And the scores are 95%, 97, 98, and 99. So it's not even 100%.
It's not even
whereas we're looking at the graph. So It has to be 100%
Who is
for
this
vocal
guy
accuracy
anyway?
because we are calibrated to A440. So anyway, I'm going to bring these all back up again because the only natural voice was this second girl, and yeah, she wins 96%.
Yeah, and you win the song thing, even though the guy said you didn't. And that's the thing is people. I can't believe I don't know who this guy is that did the short, but if he is any kind of a music producer, he's probably trying to sell a plugin, and or something. Either that or yeah. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, this is something that I and Phil have like been on the same boat, and he can really show it a lot better. And I wanted to really take a minute to talk about this because this has been happening, at great scale. And then the fact that they're even going back in time. So you could buy albums today from a band that was recorded over 40 years ago, and they could remaster it. And if they have the original stems and the original tracks, they could digitally remaster and ruin what was magical. Sometimes when things are just a little bit out of pitch, that's the magic that happens in the songs. And when you auto-tune that shit away, you just auto-tune the magic right out of it. Good job. Stop with the auto-tune shit. It's getting old. But yeah, I'm totally, with Bill. What was his hand? Yeah. I was going to say, I've had it up to here. But no, he's right. 100% right. And people really, nobody's got, not everybody's got software or whatever, but yeah, people should be thinking about this and really being a little bit more critical of what they're hearing. And maybe what you're hearing isn't all as real as you might think it is, even if it's live. Everybody out there is having a great day. We got tons more news, reviews, reacts, all sorts of awesome stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day out there, everybody. And go check out Phil. We'll have this video linked up and all that good stuff too as well. Have a great day.